What's up, guys? Welcome back to Slapshot Sweethearts. I'm Megan. That is Shannon. You know where you're at. Today, we are sitting down with Isobel Cup champion, Boston Pride captain, Jillian Dempsey. Hello, and thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me. Happy to be here with you guys.
Yeah, the honor is ours. I mean, congratulations in advance. It's been a crazy few weeks.
Yeah, it's been incredible. The support from my school community where I work and from my town, and just hearing from so many different people. It's been pretty amazing how many people tuned in or saw something on it, and it's just been a whirlwind. But all smiles on cloud nine. So obviously, really enjoying it.
Love to hear it. We will get to the cup soon, but we're going to start from the basics, start from the beginning. How did you get into hockey?
Oh, wow, we're going way back. I was like, not sure what basics we were talking about. We're going back to the youth days. So I started playing hockey around age 5. My dad had played. He loved hockey. And my younger brother, Connor, and I both got into it out there with the milk crates, learned to skate. And we played so much of those early days together. I played mostly boys hockey at the time. There weren't as many options as there are now for young girls playing. I mean, I loved my time playing with the boys, and I obviously got to play with my brother, and my dad coached often, like on some of our mite teams and way back in squirts. So started young, just like most hockey players do, and it's been my life ever since.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we've heard from most players, that they started with the boys. It's kind of shaped how they play now. And then a lot of you guys took NCAA careers. So you obviously had a pretty storied career with Harvard as well.
Yeah, that was a dream come true for me. In 6th grade, I had to make an autobiography, and there was a future section. And so, of course, they leave it up to you. Imagine what you want your future to be. And my parents helped me scan my little hockey face onto the Harvard game pamphlet, like the brochures that they would give out before the games. And we did the same to one of the USA hockey ones. So that was something in 6th grade that I knew that's what I wanted. And I was fortunate to be able to live close and be able to go watch games at the Harvard rink, and the likes of Julie Chu, AJ Mlexko, Angela Ruggiero. And that's what I got to watch and look forward to and aspire to. And for it to happen, it was the best 4 years, and it flew by way too quickly. But, the experience was, you can't even put it into words. I absolutely loved it. And I look back on those days with a big smile. And I only wish we won some NCAA championships.
Right.
I know that's definitely ambitious, but, it was an incredible experience, and I wish it didn't go by so quickly.
Talk about manifesting your future right there.
Yeah, the other part of it didn't work as well. I ended up getting cut from Team USA back in right before the 2014 Olympics. So I got to live one dream out, and the other one not quite. But I think you build resilience, you build a little character from that, and obviously I've been fortunate to keep playing competitively, and I never thought I'd be playing 8 years of professional hockey, and that's what it's come to now. So I'm a veteran. It surprises me that I've been playing this long now, but I can't imagine anything else.
Yeah, you win some, you lose some, right? You're the NWHL inaugural player. You're record holder for most of those records in the league. I mean, what's it like to be the player that has 2 Isobel Cups, one of the only inaugural players left, that you're holding the records for goals, points, assists, all of those things? I mean, what's it like as a leader for the Pride team to set that example for those players, especially as the NWHL is gaining traction, and you're showing players that they can have an 8-year career in the league, and they don't necessarily need to give it up after a year or two once they've had that experience of playing professional hockey?
Yeah, this victory was as sweet as they come. I think this was the most excited I've been in a while. We won in year 1 way back in 2016, and that was amazing. That was, and that was special because we were playing for Denna, and Denna's always been part of this program. And that moment, everything she had gone through that season, it was we had to end with the cup, with everything going on, and it was to be able to bring that back and share that with her. So that was a really special moment then. But since then, it's been it had been the elusive Isobel Cup. It was like we dropped that, we lost the Cinderella story for the Beauts, who got, it's a movie where they come in and upset the big time favorite. And I normally love those kinds of stories, except not when I'm on the wrong end of it. And
right.
So that happened. And then year 3 of the league was one of, I think we had the most losses I've ever had in my hockey career, even going back to the youth days. I think we won 4 or 5 games, and it was just like the opposite direction of where we were a couple of years prior to that. And then we were looking up. Year 4 was looking good, but we didn't even get to the final. Year 5 last year, it was supposed to be our year, and COVID happened. So, to hoist it this season with on top of everything was just amazing. And this group that, it started out difficult for us to find what our identity was, and we weren't playing the way that we wanted to be playing. And I think having to grind through that and push through and come together and, really decide what team we wanted to be prepared us for the semifinal and final games, and to be able to face those strong competitive teams. And we knew those were going to be battles, but I think we had the confidence in each other, and, we played both those games the way that we knew we could play, and it was fun. And to obviously get the reward in the end, that's what it's all about. So, and then this time around, I got to play with Lexi Lang, and, we never crossed over at Harvard. And it's just, little things like that made this year just one that's, one for the ages, one that we're going to remember forever. So I love my role being part of this team and being part of this program. And obviously it's the greatest honor to be captain of this team. And, we just get to go out there, and I love playing the game and showing up to practice and being out there with my team. So it's, it's pretty easy showing up, just having a blast and working hard and trying to lead the way. But when everybody's buying into that team culture and having that mindset, it's going to lead to success. So I'm just here enjoying it and already getting ready to, think about next season when we're going to be on the ice together again, and keeping those ambitions high and making sure that nobody else gets that cup. We want to keep it here in Boston.
Yeah, so I mean, you beat me to it a little bit. I was going to say, playing for 8 years, you played for Jenna that first season. Now you're playing with Lexi in 2021. I mean, in that 8-year span, we just talked to Madison Packer, and she's one of the inaugural players as well. The rosters have changed significantly in those 8 years. I mean, there's not a lot of players left, and the turnover is pretty significant for a new league like that. How has it been for you as one of those long-term players and as a captain adjusting? I think the Pride has a unique perspective in that you guys do have a pretty established internal culture that doesn't really change as much as other teams. But how do you as a captain kind of make sure, and as a long-term player, make sure that culture maintains itself and, lead everyone into the next season and make sure that the roster, even as it changes, the culture doesn't change?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And that's, now that I think about it, really, I guess the inaugural season players were getting, those numbers are getting fewer now. But yeah, I mean, when I think back to the start of the league and where we are now, it definitely has not been a perfect path. And, that first season, it was so new, and it was packed crowds, and everywhere you went, there were packed crowds in Buffalo. The Rivs were in New York at the time, literally in the city. I think it was Brooklyn. Yeah, we were playing at a rink that was an old airplane hangar, I believe. It was a packed crowd. I remember that. We were super late one game, and then Connecticut, everything. It was packed crowds, and there was so much excitement, and everything was looking up, and that, it was incredible. Obviously, we got the cherry on the top that season too. But then year 2, things really shifted where, they had to cut salaries, and it was seeming like, I don't know, maybe it's too good to be true. Maybe there was a lot of change there, and, things really kind of pulled back in year 2. And then year 3 was the Olympic year. So the league really has had quite a roller coaster of a time in its 6-year existence. But the past 2 seasons, I've noticed the most growth out of all these years. And the being privately owned when we got bought last season, like that has been a key piece to it. Like the amenities, the facilities, like the meals, everything has been top notch. And the sponsors and partnerships we've been having, we have Dunkin', which Dunkin's been around since the get-go, but we like now have Dick's Sporting Goods, Discover, Normatec. It's grown so much since the start, even after having some of those hiccups along the way. And to be able to see that, and I always like the players coming fresh out of college now. I'm like, well, first of all, they're like 22, 23. And now that I'm 30, I'm like, wow, how am I this much older? I don't feel that much older. But, being able to say to them, no, you guys, this has come so far in 6 years. Yeah. Like imagine where we're going to be in 6 more years if it's made this much growth now. So that's something that sticks out pretty fresh. And, in terms of thinking of the league specifically, that growth, like reflecting on that, it really is wild what it was. Even when I was in the CWHL right out of college, we were bussing 9, well, I guess it was closer to 11 hours to Toronto. And, and now at least we're flying places. It's come a long way. And that's exciting for the growth of women's hockey. But getting back to maintaining that team culture, I think so much of, like we've had that consistency. We have luckily we've had a core group that has been there for several years, even some of those transition years, we've been able to keep that core group. And I guess I'm the only one from that obviously original team, but the leadership groups that we've had, we've really tried to just set the tone and set the expectations for this is what Boston Pride hockey is. And this is what we expect of each other, and we hold each other to that high standard. And practice, you go out there and you play as hard as it's a game. We're trying to get better, we're trying to raise that level of competition and compete, and that's how you do it. It's those little details. Every shift in a game, every drill in a practice, you have to treat it like it's everything. And I think just the biggest way to do that is by example, just going out there and doing it, and kind of really making that be the norm and the expectation. And I'm a pretty vocal person too, so I'm always yapping away, and I love the quotes. I love the miracle, and so just consistently reinforcing what we want of our program and what that standard is. And the players we're bringing in, when they buy into that and they want to be part of this culture and they have the right character, that makes it such a smooth transition. And our coaches, our staff is trying to bring in the players that fit what we're looking for, and really prioritizing character and work ethic and having that grit and heart. And obviously that to me is more important than skill, but we obviously love skill as well. But just trying to maintain those, as that's our expectation and that's what this is. And when you put on that sweater, when you come to Boston and you play here, that's what's expected of you, and everybody rises to the occasion. So it's just kind of, it feels in the blood of the program, and we just show up every day and try to live it out.
Oh, it's in the blood of the city. That just hypes me up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it is.
I feel like we need one of those Road to the Winter Classic type shows for you guys, because I feel like women would just be so much more entertaining.
Yeah. No, that would definitely be a blast, and it could following people at work too. That would be something to
I know, because you guys got to go to work, and then
yeah, but it may, honestly, just when practice time comes, even though it's late at night and it's after the workday, I think everybody showing up wants to be there. Like that's we want to be there. We love being there and get in to see your teammates at the end of the day and get in a great skate. That's what you look forward to. That's the best part of the day. So, but that would be a blast having the cameras follow around. They would definitely get some key entertainment. We have some characters for sure.
So let's talk about Lake Placid. What was the preparation like, and the level of excitement? Like you already touched on, there was so much more momentum and excitement this year coming from outside the sport at you guys even. What was it like gearing up to go into that with so much excitement around?
Oh, first thing when I think of Lake Placid, obviously, is Miracle. And Mike Garizzione is from my town. I consider him a friend now. He reaches out. He's so supportive and awesome. And so I'm like, we're going to Lake Placid. Like, it's going to be a magical time. It's going to, like, we're going to do it. Like, everything's coming together for us. This is exactly how it's meant to be. You know, like, you get excited for that. And then seeing the sponsors come in and, you know, once we actually got there and seeing the facility and the setup and all of, like, the swag and different things that we were getting, it was like really impressive. And, you know, obviously just so excited. We're packing all this hockey and we're going to be skating every single day. And, you know, we haven't done that since the college days. So, you know,
you don't have to worry about work. Like, there's just,
it was like, and I mean, I was going to be Zooming into my class from the bubble, but, you know, it was going to be all hockey at, you know, after 2:00, it's all hockey, and just beyond thrilled for that. And, you know, the coverage we were getting locally and some of the national sports networks kind of mentioning it. It was just, I remember thinking, wow, I didn't know this many people knew what we were, or that they, you know, wanted to get the word out there. So that was really amazing to see how much attention it was getting. And then obviously it went from like the highs of the highs to pretty low with that when everything got postponed, and I was feeling a lot like last season with just not knowing, the uncertainty of, okay, yeah, like maybe we'll play it, but I don't know, how's that going to work? You know, just kind of how everything played out last year, where it just wasn't feasible to make it happen. And when they ended up going, you know, so everything's high, we're coming in, we're so excited. We struggled. We couldn't get on the scoreboard. We're losing games in the third period. We're not meeting the expectations we set for ourselves. We're fighting to even stay in Lake Placid. And then we finally, backs against the wall, discover who we are going to be. We come together. We're able to explode offensively, and we're building confidence. NBC is going to be on Thursday night. We're going to be in that game. And then COVID, and, you know, just being like, wow, that, you know, what's next? So it was like quite the up and down. But then obviously they announced, hey, it's going to be in Boston, and it's happening, and it's still on NBC. So then we're back at the top, gearing up for that, the preparation, and just knowing exactly what the competition is going to be, exactly what we're getting into, and just ready to take care of business. And obviously that weekend was perfect for us.
Yeah, I mean, having it at home, it has to be incredible. Going back to Warrior Ice Arena, obviously you guys had so much support from the Boston sports teams, the new mayor, the mascots. Like, there was a ton of home ice advantage from my perspective, at least. But I know that you guys obviously had a lot of work to do to catch up from what you guys did in Lake Placid, just mentally. And so what did that preparation look like? You know, basically saying, like, we got to get our crap together. This isn't you know, just going to be the fantasy that we think it's going to be.
Yeah. And then you had to rehab, right? Because you injured your shoulder, right?
Yes. Yep. So that, in a weird way, was a blessing to get that extra month and a half, you know, because at first it was absolutely, you know, I was, you know, obviously going to grind through and leave everything out there. But then weirdly getting that extra month and a half, and Jenna had broken her wrist in the second game. Like, I think it was the first period, and she was playing so well for us on that blue line. And then, so she was out, no question, in Lake Placid. And so she was able to come back, and
good for her, man. Like,
able to play. And that was huge. So she and I, and it's funny because, you know, after we dropped that first game to Minnesota, she and I were texting about the game, and she had heard this quote in her, like, a church service that she zoomed into or watched online on that Sunday, saying, where we stumble and fall, we find gold. And I remember thinking, wow, Jenna, that is dead on. You know, when she shared that with me, she's like, Demps, it resonates so much with what we're in right now. We lost that game, but, you know, we're good. We're going to bounce back. And then it really started to become more and more true. I'm like, well, okay, we're stumbling. Yep, we're really falling. All right, we're all the way down. Like, we can't, only place to go is up from
Where else to go?
You know, lost the first game to Buffalo in the best of 3 series. Like, we have to win everything from here on out. And so it kind of became our little thing to say, hey, like, we stumbled, and now we're finding the gold. Like, we're rising up. So that was the weird blessing in disguise, having that time off. And I definitely benefited from, having some time to recover and PT and get myself a little bit stronger and, feeling better going into those games, feeling more healthy. So that definitely helped, but it was a very strange time right after. We had the virus had spread, many players had it. And so dealing with that and then just being like kind of down and out and then trying to get the lungs back and the legs back. And
we spoke to a Whale player that was Maggie Legou, who's a rookie defenseman who had COVID, and she said she got the text that you guys were going to Boston, and she was like, I have to exercise, like, are you kidding? Because she was so like all the lung issues that they were going through, they all were texting each other like, how are we supposed to go get on a treadmill? Like, just so surprised. Like, and so it was a mental thing that I think a lot of people didn't realize, since it was a relatively quick term between Lake Placid and Boston.
Yeah. And I had it too, and many of us did. And so that was the weird part too, also, is we were skating every single day and all of the prep before Lake Placid. I mean, our team was able to be on the ice like 4 times a week and, doing our off ice. And then, once things were postponed, we weren't skating and we weren't working out because we were, trying to get better from COVID. But that, it was the combo of having some of that time off. Like, how it is when you're off for a little bit, you lose so much and it takes a lot more to get that back. So, it was a pretty quick turnaround and understanding, okay, now we have that data set. We know that's when we're playing. And now we have to get ourselves ready, physically ready back after that weird lapse of time off. So that was definitely a very strange, like, not sure what day or time it was, just because you're at home quarantining, and it was kind of crazy, but I think it was really exciting. It gave us something to obviously put our minds on and be focused on. And, when the bike sprints were tough, it was nice to say, okay, you're going to have that breakaway in the third period. What are you going to do with it? And just kind of being able to battle through some of that and train, and obviously being on the ice together again. It was great to see everybody and just for us to pick up where we left off, and for our team knowing exactly what we wanted to do to execute and just making sure we were getting ourselves ready for that. So it was a strange time, but like I said, it worked itself out nicely for us to be able to bounce back and get ourselves ready and be able to go out there and do what we wanted to do.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously worked because you guys looked incredible against Toronto. I remember I had to go on a road trip in the second and third period, and I set up like this janky hotspot situation in the car so that I could still watch it. Just goal on goal on goal while I'm in the car. I mean, you guys look. I wouldn't have been able to tell all of the adversity you guys went through in that last month. I mean, what was the momentum like and the excitement like in between Friday and Saturday? Obviously, there's an element there of trying to hone in that energy to prepare. That's a very quick turn between a semifinal and a final.
Yeah, it was, I would define it as butterflies. I definitely, it was hard to wind down after the game, so much excitement. And, just when we finished our game, we actually were watching some of the next game on NBC, and to be able to look and say, wow, like that's it. It's on television. Like
turn it on.
This is it. Like, look at the quality, look at the production. And so that was so exciting. And then, hearing from friends and family who had tuned in and all of their excitement for the next day. But it was like, I wish the game wasn't at 7 p.m. Like, we were all like, wish it was an afternoon game, because it was butterflies and just like wanted to get out there and play instead of waiting around. So it felt like an eternity, I think, from when we woke up Saturday to when we were actually playing the game. And we had watched some of the men's NCAA hockey, and so that was on, and that was time. And whenever you watch hockey, obviously you're like, oh, I want to be out there. I want to be doing that. So it was just kind of ticking down the time, pregame meal. Okay, now we're getting closer. It's almost here. And then once we're finally there, at least you have something to do with that energy, like taping the stick, doing the off-ice warm-up, just getting yourself moving and active. And definitely, though, my butterflies were outrageous that whole day. And I think it was just so exciting, and just knowing how how hard we worked for that moment and just how big that moment was and the platform we were getting to play on. It was everything. So the good kind of butterflies and just eager to get out there and to play hockey.
And then you became champions.
Yes, that was, I mean,
and not even just that, just MVP, like all of it just added into one.
Yeah, and that's a testament. My teammates have been incredible, and my line mates. Like, I love playing with McKenna and T, and we're always cracking up about something. We have kind of a focused fun. We're very competitive, very driven, and we want to go out there and execute and do the job and put pucks in the net, and play strong defensively, play all 3 zones. So we have our mission of what we want to go out there and do, but we like to do it with a smile and having fun. And in practice, we're keeping it light, but also like fierce competition. So it's a great balance there. And, the passes and the plays that they made to help our team win were the perfect timing and just right on the money. And so that's really a testament to my line mates, my teammates. Goaltending, Lavisa stood on her head. She made all the big saves we needed her to make. And, the defense contributing offensively. It's just up and down the lineup. So that's a team award there. And I'm just incredibly proud of the group because we went through so much together. And I know it's corny and cliche to say that, but it really felt like we did. And I think, for it to have that time with the cup together, that was the moment. That was what we were all working for. And so to get the reward is makes it all worth it. But yeah, just watching that clock tick down, especially after that 19.4, I'm like, no way. No, we're like closing out right here. That was just the clock couldn't go fast enough at the end there, and just wanted to get out there and in that huddle. Best feeling.
And I think one of the biggest things that has really helped you guys get momentum, is particularly this season, has been social media. And I've seen that you guys have been celebrating, with the help of, like I said, other Boston teams, other, companies and organizations within the area and the NWHL everywhere. And it's been really great to follow as a fan on social media. Have you guys, obviously you guys have day jobs, you're a teacher, the majority of the league is either in school or working. What has it been like for you guys to balance everything that's going on in terms of celebration and, really getting to enjoy that time while also having to, go back to work, You already had to take time off for Lake Placid. So I'm assuming you all don't have unlimited PTO.
Yeah, no, it's been definitely a balance. And I think it's something we're used to. Instead of having practice at night, we would get the opportunities to go to the Red Sox or the Bruins. And obviously, because of COVID, it was small groups.
Right.
I wish it could have been all of us at everything, but the bigger picture was that our Boston sports teams wanted to include us and wanted to bring us in.
And as a Boston native, that's
right away. Yeah, it was like 2 days after the cup in Boston, the Bruins were like, "We want you here. We want to get you honored, get you on the Jumbotron." Like, we were in a box. It was incredible. And then the same thing, the Celtics and the Red Sox, and I know the Patriots are far off, but I'm gonna keep my hopes that it still matters. Even though Edelman retired and broke my heart, Brady left. But it's like that core group of Patriots is pretty much gone now. But no, it's been, I think, to be supported by the Boston sports teams and by this fan base and the sports city. I love being from Boston so much, and to really feel part of that these past couple of weeks has just been incredible, and Mayor Janie, she had us over at City Hall. Like, we did a little something outside, and she was honoring us, and she had dropped the puck at the championship game. And I think she said that was her first hockey game. And I'm like, well, you're going to have to come back and drop the puck at every game now because you're clearly a good luck charm. But, it's just been a whirlwind. And yeah, obviously, like, having work the next day of these things, but everybody's been really making the most of it. And we're trying to get the team together as much as we can and to really just enjoy it and celebrate it. I mean, Teresa, she went home back to Czech Republic like the next day. So we haven't seen Teresa in a while. I don't know when she'll be back. And then another Carly was moving back home to Arizona. So people were, kind of spreading out and moving on with things pretty quickly. So we really had to savor that time we had together. And I'm just looking forward to the next time we can get everybody together and as an organization and to be able to continue that celebration.
Yeah. Well, we can't wait to see what next year brings you guys. Hopefully a setting where Shannon and I can come see a game.
Yes.
Like, we're so excited and so thankful for you for joining us. So we'll definitely have to chat again soon, but let our listeners know where they can find you on social.
Yes. So I'm not as active on it. My teammates often give me some chirps because it'll be a while. They're like, oh, you finally checked Twitter. Or, oh, I sent you that a week ago, but I'm not the most active, but when I do get on there, I try to engage and respond or if people are reaching out to me. But my Twitter is just at Jillian T. Dempsey. And I'm pretty sure my Instagram's the same. Probably should know that off the top of my head, but pretty sure they're both just Jillian T. Dempsey.
We'll have you tagged so everyone can find
Yeah, I'll tag
Perfect.
you, no worries. I know Megan for the same thing, so.
And I don't have TikTok or anything. That's the younger ones. That's T and Tori, and they do all those hilarious ones. Sometimes I'm a guest star in it, but don't have any of that.
Amazing. Well, Jillian Dempsey, thank you so much again. Guys, if you haven't already, subscribe to see more content like this, and we will catch everyone again next time.
Yeah, and check out the Boston Pride.
Yes.
Yes, love it. Thank you guys so much for having me. It's been a blast.